Chelsea have stepped up what sources describe as concrete interest in Robin Roefs, according to Football Insider. And internally, the move makes clear sense when examining the recruitment priorities at Stamford Bridge. The club's strategy for the upcoming transfer window places the goalkeeper position high on the agenda, with scouts tasked with identifying a profile capable of becoming the long-term number one for a Champions League level side. Roefs has emerged as that profile. At 23, the Sunderland goalkeeper combines modern distribution with elite shot-stopping statistics, and Chelsea's analysis department reportedly believes his development curve fits precisely the type of high-ceiling signing targeted since the ownership transition. In practical terms, the interest has moved beyond the exploratory phase. Chelsea are now advancing internal planning around the possibility of bringing Sunderland's current starter to West London as a central figure in their next defensive cycle. Inside Sunderland, the financial aspect of the situation is already clearly defined. Owner Kirill Louis-Dreyfus has reportedly placed a valuation of £50 million on the goalkeeper, a figure designed both to protect the asset and reflect the rapid rise in Roefs' market value since his arrival last summer. The expectation within the club is that formal offers will emerge, and not solely from Chelsea. Several Premier League giants are understood to be monitoring the situation closely, most notably Manchester City and Liverpool. Both clubs have a history of tracking young goalkeepers capable of dominating the position over the long term, and Roefs' age profile, statistical output and composure under Premier League pressure place him firmly in that category. Sunderland's recruitment team anticipated significant interest when the Dutchman was signed, yet the speed of his progression means the club may now face competition from the very top of the English football pyramid for their most valuable defensive asset. The numbers explain why the market reaction has been so strong. Since arriving from NEC Nijmegen in August 2025, Roefs has not only adapted to the Premier League, but also displaced Anthony Patterson to establish himself as Sunderland's undisputed first-choice goalkeeper. Across 28 league appearances this season, he has recorded 8 clean sheets while conceding 34 goals. More importantly, his save percentage currently stands at 71.4%, the third best figure in the Premier League. Only Gianluigi Donnarumma and Emiliano Martinez sit ahead of him in that metric. From an analytical perspective, those numbers place Roefs firmly among the elite performing goalkeepers in the division. When a 2-3-year-old produces that level of output in his first Premier League season, recruitment departments across Europe inevitably take notice. For Sunderland, those 8 clean sheets represent more than results. They illustrate a goalkeeper whose statistical profile now commands genuine top club value. Chelsea's challenge, however, is not purely technical. The financial context surrounding the club could ultimately determine whether the transfer becomes viable. UEFA financial data recently revealed a pre-tax loss of £342 million, and former Everton, Aston Villa and Aberdeen chief executive Keith Wyness has suggested that Chelsea may be forced to oversee one of the largest player clearouts in Premier League history this summer. Since the Bluecoat takeover in 2022, spending has exceeded £1 billion, while revenues have struggled to match the growth in operating costs. Under manager Liam Rosenior, any attempt to secure a £50 million goalkeeper, such as Roefs, would almost certainly require outgoing transfers first. Without that financial adjustment, Chelsea risk losing ground in the race, particularly if Liverpool or Manchester City move from monitoring the situation to submitting formal bids. For Sunderland, the strategic decision now sits at the centre of the club's long-term model. Selling a 2-3-year-old goalkeeper for £50 million would represent one of the most profitable deals in the club's modern history, validating the recruitment strategy that identified Roefs in the Eredivisie and moved decisively before the wider market reacted. At the same time, the sporting implications cannot be ignored. Roefs has already become the cornerstone of Sunderland's defensive structure, and his 71.4% save rate alongside 8 clean sheets has been fundamental to the team's stability this season. The question facing the club's leadership is therefore straightforward, yet significant. Should Sunderland retain their elite goalkeeper and build around him for the next stage of the project, or accept the scale of the profit now available and reinvest those funds across multiple areas of the squad? From a strategic standpoint, this summer may ultimately define the next phase of Sunderland's competitive trajectory.